Hey guys, it's 𝙂𝙊𝙇𝙍𝙊𝙎, 𝙂𝙊𝙇𝙍𝙊𝙎. And as we get further into this gold and silver market, especially as we're trading sideways, we get a lot of snarky comments, some outright mean and some outlandish comments. I'm going to read some of those that we've gotten over the previous few weeks to you guys on the air. And then I got a video to show you that you're not going to want to miss between me and one Jeffrey Christian of CPM Group. Stay till the end for that one. You're going to really love it. So we're going to read the mean tweets, if you will, or the mean snarky comments, and I'm going to go give my little retort to them. I've got a whole list of them here for you. Frederick the Great, in his frustration with silver not going straight to the moon, says, right now it looks like toxic waste is going to hit $50 an ounce before silver does. I think you may have kind of missed it on that one. Frederick the Great, not so great. You know, toxic waste is often dumped in rivers and things like that. They probably could use silver to clean it up because it's antimicrobial properties. But in reality, yes, silver is trading at double what it was about a year and a half ago when it was 11 bucks an ounce. It's done pretty damn well. It's beaten the pants off the stock market the last year and a half. If you want to talk about gold, it's beaten the pants off of all the major stock indices since 2000. That's 21 years. So overall, precious metals are doing just fine, but nice attempt at disparaging silver. This is 𝙎𝙄𝙇𝙬𝙊𝙎, and this is in response to a YouTube community poll we posted that said, what's weighing on your mind, the precious metals? And 𝙎𝙄𝙇𝙬𝙊𝙎 has a nice little snarky comment. The fact that gold and silver suck and are not acting as inflation hedges is weighing on my mind right now. Well, I hate to tell you, 𝙎𝙄𝙇𝙬𝙬, but gold, as I just said, has beaten the major stock indices since 2000. So if you had invested in a general basket of stocks like, I don't know, most people that have pensions and 401ks, you would have made a lot less money than you would have in gold. All those people that work hard all those hours and put their money in the 401k, if they simply would have bought some gold, it would have done a lot better. So the question is, in your opinion, if gold is not acting as an inflation hedge, what is the stock market doing? Sucking giant donkey balls is what it's doing, because gold is beating the absolute crap out of it. Silver, you got a little bit of an argument, even though it's doubled in about 18-month time frame. Silver, yes, it's not as high as we think it should be, but we think it's going to get there with some supply chain shortages. So we'll stay tuned to that one. We have Lofty Ken saying on YouTube, 𝙂𝙊𝙇𝙍𝙊𝙎 will not be part of the market disruptors event pumping bit pawns scam over there. Very disappointed. Yes, that is probably in a comment or in response to one of my comments about Bitcoin. I'm not the biggest Bitcoin guy. I mean, first of all, Bitcoin sucks as a currency. You get 7 transactions a second, and they don't even have true validation on the blockchain. I mean, it's just a crap currency. It's not a currency. What it is something that will go up to 60,000 and then fall back down to 30,000. And it's also something during the pandemic that will drop 85% in a day. But hey, if you consider Bitcoin a stable asset class, more power to you. You're probably going to lose your money over time. And yes, I will not be part of any Bitcoin pumping scams. 𝙎𝙄𝙇𝙍𝙊𝙎, this is in response to one of my silver symposium videos that came out on Stock Pulse's YouTube. 𝙎𝙄𝙇𝙍𝙊𝙎 says this: isn't Rob the same guy who said the world was falling apart last year and that we would never make it this far without a total reset? So 𝙎𝙄𝙇𝙍𝙊𝙎, you kind of missed the boat there. I've said probably on 25 videos, I don't think the reset is a single event. I think it's going to happen over years. And then I think the big reset is probably going to occur about middle of this decade. So 2024 to 2025 timeframe. I've said that I don't know how many times over the last year and a half. And is the world falling apart last year? I know that you meant this as a snarky comment because you know the stock market's up, not as much as gold, mind you, but it's up a little. And you feel confident that the world is humming along nicely because your stocks are doing good in your little portfolio. And, you know, Bitcoin goes up to 60,000 before falling back down to 30 and losing all of its investors' money. But it makes you feel good because it hit 60, right? It hit 60. It's got to be the best investment ever. Never mind the fact it destroys people's wealth multiple times per year if you look at a chart. But let's talk about the world falling apart. Let's talk about the supply chain shortages we've been talking about. Let's talk about the energy crisis in China and in Europe. Let's talk about the debt collapse that's going on with Fantasia and Evergrande in China. Let's talking about the falling apart of NATO that I've been talking about on my channel. Let's talk about all those other things that school districts in Alabama cannot provide food for breakfast and lunch for their students every day. So they're talking about going to remote instruction. Have you ever heard of these things in US history? Short of the Great Depression, we haven't really had those types of problems, especially not in the last 100 years. So I don't know, 𝙎𝙄𝙇𝙍𝙊𝙎, is the world falling apart? I know that was meant to be a snarky comment, but I think maybe there's a lot more evidence that it is falling apart than it's not, but I do think it happens over time. And I think I've said that about 5,000 times. Thanks for trying though. I mean, I appreciate the comment. Let's see, we've got another one. This is Mike B in response to one of my videos. He is never right. Well, actually I kind of am, because 9 years ago on Seeking Alpha, I wrote an article saying we were going to run into an oil crisis because there's less supplies, less easily gotten supplies, and eventually we're going to use it all. And that Asia Pac and Europe are responsible for most of the demand increase, with a little bit in North America. And then this year we're seeing major energy crisis in China, including major oil crises in China and in Europe, and in also heating gas and natural gas and coal. But yeah, you're right. I'm never right. I can never go back 9 years and prove that I was actually right about something, like I just did for our Patreon members in our weekly video I just posted today. Yeah, exactly. Or if you read my book, and I called out when I wrote in 2009, which is 12 years ago, about how China is going to be a rising world economy, how they're stockpiling goods and they may peg their currency to gold, and how all of those things have either been threatened by China or actually done. And I wrote that 12 years ago. Yeah, I'm never right. Of course, Mike, if you had bothered to read the book and do any research, you would have seen that I'm right quite often. Are the timing of all my market calls correct? No, but then for anybody. But I'll give you a clue. Go to my website, look at the section where I have almost 40 proven market predictions, and I'd link you to where I said it was going to come true, so you can go see for yourself. It's all there for you to go look at. Nice try though. 𝙎𝙊𝙇𝙬10, JLICH10 said 2 weeks ago, in one of my videos, gold is a dead rock, switch to Bitcoin if you want real freedom. Yeah, because Bitcoin has done nothing but create freedom for man. Are you sure? With all these totalitarian regimes? What about the lockdowns in Australia? What about the UK police knocking on your door if you weren't wearing a mask at a restaurant? Is that real freedom? Has Bitcoin actually created value, or is it repeatedly just crashing over and over again? What freedom has Bitcoin actually provided the world? And when the states lock it down through legislative decree that Bitcoin is outlawed, like, I don't know, China did. How much freedom in China is there through Bitcoin, you dumbass? So yeah, 𝙎𝙊𝙇10, nice comment, nice try, but I think you were proven wrong on that. And it was funny, right after he posted that was like literally 3 or 4 days when he put Bitcoin is freedom, where China outlawed Bitcoin, said you can go to jail for having it. It's not freedom in China. Fred Mel says, that was a very desperate sounding plea. Rob's subscribers must be losing faith with his bullish viewpoint as their precious metal portfolio keeps losing value. All the data he provides does nothing to address proper position entry. Timing is everything. Actually, if you've been watching any of my videos, I tell you exactly when to get in. I say buy in the pullbacks, but look at the technical patterns. I've done, I don't know, 30 technical videos over the last year and a half talking about gold and silver. And I don't know if people are losing faith because precious metal portfolio keep losing value, because I don't know, they're doing pretty damn well. Silver's up 100% in less than a year and a half, and gold has beaten the stock market indices since 2000. It's beaten just about every investment since 2000. So I'm not exactly sure what you mean there, that they keep losing value. Are they range trading now in a consolidation phase, waiting for the next bullet? Sure. We've seen that on the chart, and we've seen this before in the 80s with gold and silver. It's happened before, it's going to happen again. But nice try there. Nice little snarky comment. I like that one. Here is a positive one from Frank Cervini. Of course, you got to end up with a good one. You're a silver stud, Rob. Thank you so much, Frank. I appreciate it very much. And I appreciate all of the snarky comments. I get the snarky comments when the markets aren't doing what we want. But remember, everything is cyclical. It goes up, it goes down. Nothing goes in a straight line forever. And we're fine on gold and silver. The macro picture has not changed. Gold and silver over the last few years have done just fine. And I think they're going to continue to do well. And again, energy shortages, massive crisis all over the world. These are just catalysts for gold and silver to much higher, and they will. Now, the special treat I promised you at the beginning of the video, many of you have seen this on Twitter. It was when I was at Silver Symposium and I walked into the quote unquote debate between Jeffrey Christian of CPM Group and David Morgan of the Morgan Report. It wasn't really a debate. They sat down and had a calm conversation. I actually, for the first few minutes of it, was at lunch and came in about 15 past the hour and walked in to Jeff basically being his usual snarky smartass self, because, you know, he's from Goldman Sachs and he worked in the industry, so he knows everything, right? In any case, he said something about Andrew Maguire and I stood up and challenged him on it, and he wasn't able to prove his point, but he did start hurling epithets or names at me. Those of you who have not seen this on Twitter, I'm going to play it for you on the program here. Let me get the share up and running, and just watch. As soon as Jeff can't prove his point, watch what
prove it, Jeff. Prove it. I have his resume from his ex-wife. So actually, proof is a great point, because the whole world is about proof, right? We always want to be able to acknowledge truth.
Well, the proof actually is on the other side. When 𝙎𝙄 started paying Andrew 𝙭to make these allegations, people said, hey, Andrew, prove that. And the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the Financial Times, BBC, NBC, all said, can you prove that you actually worked in the banking industry? Show us a pay stub. And he refused to do it. And when we asked 𝙎𝙄, they said, hey, have you guys vetted this guy? Bill Murphy's comment was, we're not a journalistic outlet. We are not responsible for vetting the people that we do for.
Jeff, that's not proving a negative. You made a statement against the character of somebody.
I have the proof, but I wouldn't give it to you because you're an asshole.
Well, let me ask you this.
Jeff, you have not reasonable. That is unreasonable.
Do I have to prove that you're an asshole?
You're a narcissist and you're an asshole, and people know.
Do I have to prove that you're an asshole? I will tell you
You
this.
have to prove
The
what you have made
S&P and
statements
Dow
in public.
Jones, the S&P and Dow Jones are not
Of
exchanges.
somebody that most people in this industry see as having more integrity than you do.
Yeah.
You run your mouth, you never prove anything. I've asked you to prove it, you won't prove it.
So
You're impugning the character of somebody else. You step up and prove it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you guys are the asshole. Because you made the accusation.
Great point. Because guys, it's hard to say things about somebody if you're not willing to put out the proof. Are
I
you
got
willing
it.
to put it out?
Jeffrey Christian called me an asshole for asking him a question in which he couldn't prove. He's been talking about Andrew 𝙭for a long time. There's a famous debate between him and Bill Murphy at a conference years ago in which the subject of Andrew 𝙭came up and whether or not Andrew 𝙭was a legitimate trader in the gold market. And it was never proven one way or the other. And who knows, at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't have the proof one way or the other. It's not the point. It's the point that Jeff basically, like I said in the video, was impugning the character or attacking the character of somebody without proof. And then when I asked him to prove it and say, show the proof, he said, well, no, I don't have to because you're an asshole. And this is classic Jeffrey Christian. Classic Jeffrey Christian. When you catch him on something he doesn't have proof for and he can't make his point, he goes to the personal attacks. And in fact, that's not the only personal attack that Jeffrey Christian had made. What you didn't see on that video before he did that was he attacked one Mike Maloney at 𝙂𝙊𝙇.com. Now, Mike Maloney and Jeff Christian at one point were friends. Mike Maloney when he was researching the gold market, has said on his own channel on YouTube, he looked up to Jeffrey Christian. Jeffrey Christian helped him out, was like a mentor to him for a little while, helped him out Michael in his early days in the gold and silver markets. But they diverged at some point because Michael Maloney was seeing different things in the data and didn't agree with Jeffrey Christian. And apparently Jeffrey Christian's really butthurt about that. And watch Jeffrey Christian's reaction at the same silver symposium when asked about Mike Maloney and his view that gold accounts for money printing over time. In other words, gold will rise in price per the amount of money printed over time. And it's basically an accountability factor to fiat money. It's listen to the way that Jeff attacks Mike Maloney here. And this happened before the Andrew 𝙭thing. And it's after he attacked both Maloney and 𝙭, which I have respect for both of them. That's when I stood up to the podium and you saw the fireworks of a second ago. Let's get to this video. This is actually on Stock Pulse's. This is Stock Pulse's official video representation of the event. And we're going to play the video where he's attacking Mike Maloney from goldsilver.com.
Exchanges. And that's what they want to buy. They don't want to buy physical note.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the second thing. So you've got a physical issue, is there a shortage of silver? And then you've got a derivatives issue, which is kind of unrelated. And then the third thing is, Mike's comment about gold and silver ultimately.
It's like they do in accounting for all the paper printing. Eventually, it catches up. Mm-hmm. And I think he was referring to past historical fiat currencies.
Mike has a funny way of playing with statistics, and it's sort of like, put it this way, there are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of economists and financial analysts around the world, and they look at certain statistics and they say, yeah, this is the acceptable, intelligent, logical, mathematically supportable way of looking at it. And then there's Mike. And
gonna have to get Mike up here.
He's been asked strongly by his employers to never mention CPM or me again in public. And that's fine by me.
And so there you have it. He attacked Mike Maloney and said there's 10,000 analysts who use intelligent research, and then there's Mike Maloney. Just attacked his character without actually making a point about where Mike Maloney was wrong, just straight to the attacking the character. But then he showed you why. He got butthurt because now Mike Maloney's group doesn't want him to talk to Jeffrey Christian. They basically have kind of banned him off of his show or whatnot, whatever the case may be. And that really, pissed off Jeffrey Christian. So now he attacks Mike Maloney in public without providing an actual rebuttal of the thought of whether gold actually holds an accounting of the fiat system. I actually would have seen Jeffrey Christian's point on, he says that's not true. Okay, show us the data or give us some anecdotes where that doesn't occur. He doesn't do that. He just attacks Mike Maloney. That's what you get with Jeffrey Christian. Jeffrey Christian is a clown. He's going to win my second clown award. I gave the first one to Jim Cramer, who admitted to manipulating markets as a hedge fund manager. Now I'm going to give the second clown award from Gold, Silver, Pros to Jeffrey Christian for just being a jerk, for calling people assholes, for attacking the character of several prominent precious metals analysts without actually addressing the points that they made, without, for calling me an asshole in a professional conference just because I said, hey, well, can you prove what you've said repeatedly, not only at this conference, but in the past on social media in public about your thought on Andrew Maguire not being a legitimate trader? And he never does. So guess what, Jeffrey Christian, you win the clown award. And for all you guys that are posting snarky comments on the channel, I understand that gold and silver haven't gone straight up, but nothing does, but we're doing just fine. Since 2000, we've done just fine in gold. And the last few years, we've done just fine in silver. You continue to make your snarky comments, continue to invest in Bitcoin, which will have the highest beta or highest volatility of any asset, thereby destroying the wealth of most people that ever get into it. And by all means, invest in that overvalued, highest P/E ratio ever stock market in the history, because it can't continue going up forever, especially in light of when the real market is saying we have supply shortages. They can pump money forever, they can create debt forever, but when you run out of real stuff, that economy is going to collapse, that stock market's going to collapse. But by all means, continue to put your money in there. We'll be sitting right here comfortably in the precious metals when it happens. I'm going to follow every inch of it, every second of it. I'm not going away. You can make all the snarky comments you want. You can have people like Jeffrey Christian try to attack our character and attack all the other market analyst character. But at the end of the day, we're here. We're not going anywhere. And, we're here to stay. Gold, Silver, Pros is here to stay. And congrats, Jeff Christian, for winning the second Market Clown Award, goldsilverpros.com. We'll give away more market clowns as we come across these clowns, especially guys from Goldman Sachs who think they know more than everybody else. Until next time, this is Rob Keynes of Gold Silver. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. We appreciate it. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share, and hit that notification button so you get those notifications when new content comes out. If you like what we're doing here, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Those members of Patreon will get extra special content delivered to them as well.